I grew up in country Victoria, and sort of by today's racing standards got into the sport or into riding pretty late when I was about 13 years old, and that's late by today's standard. Yeah, it was a mighty Honda Step Through 90. It's a bit of a ag bike predecessor to the Postie bike. I bought it for $25 broken down. I did it behind my parents' back, and they promptly told me to return it back to the previous owner. So after some begging and pleading, I was able to persuade them to let me keep it. Yeah, there's sort of around about 7 disciplines in motorcycle racing, which probably the 2 best known ones is probably motocross and road racing. So I've pretty much raced in all of the disciplines over my time, but still pretty passionate about road racing, but don't currently do it. Primarily I do what's called dirt track racing, which is similar to speedway, but it's primarily done on a motocross bike, and it's got left and right hand corners. The adrenaline, the excitement of racing, still racing today, apart from the administration side of the sport, seeing all the young kids come through and that, it's just, once you're addicted to bikes, it never leaves your system. I've had a few hairy injuries from trail riding, being stuck into the bush in the dark, to getting thrown over the handlebars in the Fink Desert race and breaking 4 teeth. Probably the worst close call I had is I spent 15 minutes paralysed when I raced in the Hatter Desert race. I think it was in 2005. I've done it 8 times, but in 2005 I ended up paralysed for 15 minutes, and yeah, those 15 minutes felt like it was going to be life in a wheelchair, so that's probably the worst experience to date. I'm the President of Motorcycling Victoria, so Chairman of the Board for the state governing body for, or the state controlling body for motorcycle racing in Victoria. And I'm also the President of one of the 72 affiliated clubs in Victoria, which is known as the Harley Club of Victoria. I fell into the role of the club president back in 2011, so I've been doing it around about 7 years now. We're one of the oldest clubs in the world, not just Australia. The club was formed in 1924. It's an odd name for a sporting motorcycle club, but back in 1924, if people wanted to race motorbikes, as I always tell people, there were no Hondas or Yamahas. You were racing on a Harley back then, so that's how the club got its name. Yeah, it's one of my main driving passions behind volunteering my time for the club and for the sport is, you know, to get kids off PlayStations and given an avenue to compete in sport and to get out there on weekends and have fun on their motorcycles. It's awesome to see them start young and develop into, you know, eventually senior riders. And the youngest you can compete from is 4 years old. So yeah, we've seen kids as young as 4, so right on that age limit. And the day you turn 16, you pretty much become a senior. If you're the 16 on the 1st of January, you become a senior rider. Generally, people who want to get involved will probably already have a bike and they'll probably be riding somewhere. So probably the best place to start will be to either ring Motorcycling Victoria or to get onto Motorcycling Victoria's website and to do a little bit of research and then choose which discipline they want to get into in motorcycle sport. The main discipline our club's involved in is dirt track, and that's great for 4-year-olds because it is just a flat gravel surface with 3 corners, so it doesn't have the obstacles and big jumps and hard things to cross for a 4-year-old kid. So yeah, from the youngest kid in his you know, formative years, they can ride dirt track no problem. So they could either get information through Motorcycling Victoria, or they could jump onto the Harley Club of Victoria's website or Facebook page and get information that way.